Let's watch a recent CNN panel discussing this election between Trump and a recent LeBron James endorsement of Kamala as the race draws to a close and gets tighter than it's ever been. So I've lined these up and we can knock them out one by one. Hey you! Yes, you! Did you know we have memberships for as low as $3 a month? You can help the channel grow, reach new heights, and help protect democracy. And you get a long list of exclusive perks, from members-only polls to getting my videos early. The link is always in the description of every video. If you want, go ahead and check that out. And thank you guys.
Saying he's calling all of you racist. He's not. He's saying Donald Trump is racist. Here's the proof. Here are his words. There are people who fought really hard for me to have the right to exercise my right to vote. I will do so, and I'm going to do so publicly. Now, I will tell you, there were a lot of celebrities who for a long time did not want to get involved. I think that Trump amnesia that we were talking about earlier in the year has been cured. I think that Madison Square Garden rally was a catalyst for those who had forgotten, who had still forgotten, to pay attention and remember the division, the hostility, the misogyny, the racism, just the horrible chaos that comes with this guy. It was a fiasco.
This is something I hear MAGA do a lot in hopes that they can turn around the narrative and be the victim, saying, oh, we're being attacked by the media and the institution and the Democrats are all coming at us, when it's really just narcissism at its finest. No one who ever makes this claim can ever produce a clip to back it up because it doesn't exist. You know, the media calls Trump racist, says Trump is a misogynist, says Trump has racist policies, and then most will go as far to even say he preys on people's paranoias, maybe their unconscious bias and things such as, to get them to follow him. But I would pay 10 grand if someone can find me a clip of the media saying all Republicans are racist. Anyone who supports Trump is a racist. This clip doesn't exist. It's about as real as Kamala calling Trump Hitler. It's just like Republicans get these talking points going and they have such groupthink. They're such like condensed into their little circle of politics. They have confirmation bias that they don't ever step outside of, that so many of them start saying it and they just think that this is a real thing that's been happening when the proof for it doesn't exist. All the while they're supporting Trump, who is actually calling all Democrats the enemy within, saying anyone who doesn't support him is the enemy within, calling anyone who doesn't support him scum, calling them criminals, saying that they need to be dealt with. I mean, it's really no comparison here.
The data's there. It's been there for decades now. And we cannot deny at this table that racism is still the most intractable issue in this country.
That's not what I'm saying.
And what LeBron is drawing attention to in this race, that race, in fact, does matter. We have a choice in this race between hate and love. We will see if love wins. But what's wrong with LeBron reminding us that race has been central to the campaign that Donald Trump is running?
I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing is, if you're going to use a celebrity endorsement, I personally think there's a far more effective way to potentially move voters.
But you're not his audience.
To that.
It may work with his audience. Just because it doesn't work with you doesn't mean it doesn't resonate with his.
But I wonder if
I think that's to the point. I think it was effective. I think the endorsement does move the needle slightly, subtly. We're late in the game. I think for two reasons. One, the message was powerful.
Something that I think needs to be said, but should go without saying, is that the only people at this point who don't have an issue with Trump's racism and racial targeting is those privileged enough to never have to deal with racism or being racially targeted. This is why he does so well, mainly in the white male circle. But to those of us who have experienced this, there's no way we're standing up and watching Trump target Muslims, target Mexicans, target Haitians, Cubans, Venezuelans, target Black communities the way that we've been targeted every single day of our lives, and just think, oh, well, because when you experience racism, you know how it looks, you know how it feels. And it doesn't have to be somebody wearing a pointy white hood and saying, I'm a racist, for them to be racist. And there's really no defense, no justification for the blatant racism that Trump gets to get away with. The only explanation is that racism is still so deeply embedded into American society that sadly loads of people are willing to buy into it, from unconscious bias to the paranoias that this belief might create.
He was investigated for not renting to Black people.
That the sound that you hear of Trump at the end of the video, we have that full video, the context, right? He was on Larry King. This was in 1989, talking about the Central Park Five.
A reporter asked me whether or not I had any compassion or feeling for the people that did it. Do I have hatred for them? And I said, look, this woman was raped, mugged, and thrown off a building. Thrown off a building. On top of everything else, she's virtually, she's got some major problems, to put it mildly. I said, of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
The most damning part of the Central Park 5 stuff is Trump outright refusing to apologize. He demonized young black kids, made them out to be rapists and murderers, tried to incite as much anger towards them as possible. And remember, rhetoric causes violence. That's Republicans' talking point. So he incited violence onto these children. And when it came out that they were innocent, he just said, oh, well, oopsies, didn't even spend a fraction of the resources trying to make up for his mistake, and still to this day refuses to apologize or even admit that he was wrong. It speaks to what he thinks of black and brown people. I mean, we also have him saying things like, it doesn't cost $30,000 to bury a brown person. His racism strikes deep. It strikes in multiple facets, and it's so irritating to watch him get defended for it by so many, and it's even more honestly infuriating when it's predominantly white men who will defend these actions and this kind of rhetoric from Trump, of whom have almost definitely, at least very disproportionately, never experienced racism, especially not on a systemic level. And they're trying to tell us, of those of us who have, what racism actually is and isn't and how it's supposed to look, which is about as asinine as arguing with a neurosurgeon about brain surgery. It's ludicrous. And I just hope that we can get this vitriol and bigotry out of our political sphere in just a short few days. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.